But where are we gonna go?
Sitting by the tracks waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listen for the whistle through the rain and rain now. Who's gonna ride the devil's train tonight? Sitting by the tracks waiting for the night train.
Hey all, this is the good Reverend Jake here with my first ever video for the Rants series. Now, I'm still learning the ropes and having some minor technical difficulties as I get set up here, so please do forgive me and know that a new mic is first on the list so we can get some better audio. But no one else is really talking much about this story, so I decided to put my Let's Play work on hold and get this out to you before I worked out any other kinks. Now, let's get right into it. The Kenshi Kontroversy. So, as all of you may know, last week on Friday morning, NetherRealm Studios released a new Mortal Kombat X story mode trailer. In it, they highlight several of the new main characters, Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Hoon Jin, the bow wielder that we've all been wondering about, and Takahashi Takeda. Now, if you watch closely, you can also catch a glimpse of Aaron Black, whom you'd only know if you're reading the MKX prequel comics, and a little bit more of Devore and Kotal Khan, who are among the first of the new characters introduced. Past that, they also tease a few possible returning older characters, like Rain, Shinnok, and Melina, who's now rumored to be the big bad. Then on Monday, they released the trailer for the MKX mobile-based game. I need to take a moment to get sidetracked here. The fuck NRS? Why no Windows Phone version? Why? Back to the point, as part of the promotional materials for the mobile version of the game, videos purportedly put out on the internet by Warner Brothers. The video wasn't supposed to have been live on the internet for very long, but this image was taken from it. Here we can see that Kenshi is indeed intended for the mobile version of MKX. He's obviously been redesigned and looks older, and he fits in with the weird combat theme of MKX, as opposed to Sindel, whom in the story trailer is still in her MK9 outfit, leading to speculation that she's going to be a story cameo only. So we're pretty sure from this alone that he is actually playable. As I said before, people saw it, so of course they asked Ed Boon about it on Twitter, as NetherRealm Studios' creative director is known for teasing out new details in his tweets, and he basically confirmed it as much as he confirms anything by retweeting out the image. Exciting, right? It's about as much confirmation as Ed Boon usually gives. Or at least that's what I was thinking when I checked Ed Boon's Twitter page and found this, which, for the record, is where I learned of it first. So, not being set up myself yet, and unable to comment on it, I eagerly awaited the fan reaction to Kenshi being released, and was rewarded with a video on it from one of my favorites, Uncaged Games, psyched as always for all things MKX. If you guys aren't watching Uncaged Games' channel as well, I highly recommend it, and I've linked it in the description below. Anyways, back to the rant. Finding myself excited with nothing to do, I scoured the internet for any chance to find this fabled video of Kenshi for myself. What can I say, some inside part of me still needs to see the actual animation to this image so that I can know that this karate chop that looks rather stiff is actually going to be nice and fluid like the rest of the game, but that's a conversation for another video. While searching, I found another still that I thought would be of particular interest to Uncaged Games, so I went back to his page to find the earlier Kenshi video missing, and I thought to myself maybe he's revamping it to include this new still. However, looking on his Twitter page, we can actually see that Warner Brothers put a copyright infringement on not only his channel, but on the channel of at least one other commentator from the post. Now, this would normally be considered standard leak cover-up, except that Boon hasn't taken the image down from his site yet. Seriously, there's a link to the image still up on his Twitter page in the description below. Go ahead and click it and share the image everywhere, courtesy of Mr. Boon. I don't get why these channels needed to come down when Boon's admitting it. I mean, it's not like they had the pick of the old folks in the video. This is really messed up, and no way for NetherRealm Studios / Warner Brothers to treat the community who's trying to get behind and promote this game, even though they've only seen it on the internet. I mean, it's clear by the timestamps that Boon had tweeted out the image before the copyright notices went out. Heck, before the content was created, I believe. Though, to be fair, if you search YouTube, there are still a few videos boasting the image. Now, I'm not sure if these are under the radar still, or if NRS/WB has given up the fight on the Kenshi Kontroversy. I mean, the IGN article's been fine since Wednesday. Yep, that's right. The same day that they stopped Uncaged's video, IGN put up an article with the same image that was never requested to be taken down. You can see the date just above the huge title font. So why is it that news about Kenshi from these small content creators like Uncaged is getting taken down, but the juggernaut IGN can show it? Honestly, I think it's because they didn't bother to look there. This article is done by an independent contributor and not their main staff, and when people want leaks, they generally don't look at small writers for huge papers, they look at YouTube quick copied leaks, because once it's on YouTube, you could pretty much be sure that someone's copied it to their hard drive and passed it around. At least a screenshot of it. I mean, that's what started the whole Kenshi controversy, right? But at any rate, all signs point to Kenshi being back in the game. There was a second article from IGN, linked below as well, where NetherRealm Studios senior producer Adam Urbano stated in an interview that's since been pulled, and I've never seen this myself, but he says that you'll get to play as Johnny, and that we'll see Kenshi as well in the full game. Now, as I mentioned, I wasn't able to see this video before it was pulled down, as I didn't find the article until I was researching for this rant. But even without the video, the story does remain posted on IGN's website. So this all leads us back to my spoiler from earlier. Lost in the midst of all of this, I found yet another pic that came from another, or perhaps, and more likely, the same gaffed video. Yep, that is exactly who you think it is. Jax, Sonya, and Johnny. So why isn't anyone talking about this image? It seems to be the confirmation that we've been looking for that we'll see the characters, even if it doesn't confirm them as playable. I figure it's either lost in the shuffle or, more likely, people are too scared of getting copyright claims against their channel, and that's bullshit as I've been pointing out. By the way, everything I've shown here is currently publicly available on the web. Check out my sources in the details below. So why is NetherRealm Studios going through all this trouble to cover it up? What does it all mean? Personally, I think it's obvious that NRS has some jitters about the new characters in the game. Why? Well, Boone's got on record saying that Mortal Kombat X will introduce more new characters than any other installment, and he said it in more than one interview. Though sometimes he's thrown a modifier like probably in there as well. At any rate, when you couple that with the track record of the new characters created after Mortal Kombat 3, it all starts to add up. MK4 introduced 8 new characters. Okay, 7, we won't count Meat, but that still leaves us with Fujin, Jarek, Kai, Quan Chi, Reiko, Shinnok, and Tanya. And let's be honest, I don't think most of the current fan base could tell you who half of those people are. Outside of us super diehards, and even I had to do research for this. And MK5? Well, that's basically MK Gold, which in reality is an extended version of MK4, with no new characters, just some additional favors from past games. Continuing on, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance would be considered MK6, and in it, the only new character for MK4 to return is Quan Chi. They instead create a whole cast of 10 new characters, most notable of which is Bo Raicho, who's known as a comedy relief character, Kenshi, the blind swordsman, and I guess I could also mention Li Mei will get a nod as a secret character later on in the series, but that's really about all I know about her. Moving on, MK7 is in essence Mortal Kombat Deception, and when we look here, we only have Bo Raicho openly returning for the sequel, while Kenshi and Li Mei are relegated to secret characters. Also, it's sort of worth noting that they bring back Tanya and Blaze from MK4 as secret characters in some versions of Deception. Nonetheless, new character count for this game? 9. So that's 26 characters created for basically 3 games. No, we're not counting Armageddon because everything was in that. How many stuck out of 26? 3. 7 if you include characters with cameos as secret characters in Deception and the Deception remake Unchained. Now that's a crap ton of wasted development time when you compare that to MK3 where almost all of them stuck. Even if they didn't come back in the direct sequel, all but 3 of them make direct reappearances somewhere before the reboot 9. So why the MK roster history lesson? From it we can see that Mortal Kombat has had some issues with new character adoption, and that these later games lacked the success for which the first 3 had been known. In a series that's commonly accused of creating copycat characters, you need new blood, which is why they keep putting out these huge new rosters. But when these new rosters fail, how does the franchise survive? Let's face it, no MK game, including and after MK4 up until MK9, was considered a good game, and many had considered the franchise dead. So now they're trying to reboot it and they're hoping to do it with fresh blood and enough of it to get at least 4 or 5 new characters popular enough for a possible MK11. Because let's be honest, having your most popular game in about 15 years be a reboot of said game doesn't do much for the claims of being unoriginal that they're working so hard to move past. So what's it all mean? In short, new character adoption equals more new titles. Simple as that. They need the new characters to succeed to finish rebuilding the game franchise. And if people think the game is full of copycat characters like Jax and Jackie, or Sonya, Johnny, and Cassie, then there's no one who's going to go out and buy it. Now, people who played Injustice are going to know that NetherRealm Studios has the ability to have characters thematically linked, but yet different playstyles. However, the unfortunate common conception is copycat characters, and with no official news, that's where people's minds tend to go. So now we understand why they want to keep this under wraps. Maybe instead they should be using us, the community, to try and spread the message that just because the characters are related doesn't mean that they're copycat characters. NRS really should take a cue from how Marvel dealt with its recently. You see, they just blamed it on their fictional bad guys. They accepted it as public knowledge and put out the best version possible to show what they wanted while backing what was already out there. In Marvel's case, it's only a trailer, so a better quality trailer was released, but why not just handle the whole leak like Boone did with his tweet? And then they can push out material on how their playstyles are different to avoid the threat of copycat conception. Anyways, I've said it once and I'll say it again. This is no way for NetherRealm Studios to treat the community. To be honest, the fact that they did this really has me worried that maybe these characters are actually copycats. I hope not. I'm still got my collector's edition on order. But we'll see what happens with all of this going on with next week and moving forward. Anyways, that's the Kenshi Kontroversy, and this has been Rev's Rants. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to sound off with your own rants about the Kenshi Kontroversy below. And of course, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe because there's more on the way from Chapel Studios.